Welcome back, guys. Before I get on to this video, I just wanted to say the video that tutorial which I'm working on is kind of incomplete, so I'll be releasing this tutorial part by part. And the tutorial I'm talking about is the website like OLX, but using Django REST framework. So we'll be creating something similar to an API. So first 4 videos will be released on 11th July. Next by 18th, so some like that it will go on. So we'll be creating something like this. There's a website here. If you guys check for my password, let's say hello, and if I click check, it will show me that the number of times the password has been found in different websites. So basically this means the password has been compromised in some kind of mail, and it's there for the hackers to check it out. If you guys know what brute force is, it will try different combination of password, and those password which are there here. For example, if I type my favorite password, it also has been compromised. So this password, there is a chance for them to get it, and the chance is around 80% above. But for those password which are not mentioned here, for example, if I change my password like this, it says it's not found, and this password, the chance of getting hacked is very less. So what we are using here is an API from pontpassword.com. It's like pont passwords. API with pontpasswords.com. Right, so we are using this website, and we will say a range slash let's say EFGST. The hash prefix was not valid access. Basically, this is what we are going to use. This is the format api.pontpassword.com, and we will say range, and we will say the range check. This should be correct. I just entered a random text. Anyway, so we are using that. So we'll be creating a website similar to this. Basically, we will be creating the same website. So let's get started. So let's say Django admin start project, and I'll call this project password checker. Alright, and let's get into the folder, and I'll create an app called checker. So python manage.py start app checker. Right, so let's start coding. I'll close this. Let's let it be there. So what we are going to do first is that we'll create a new file called let's call this pontpassword.py. Here we'll be creating a program that will check if the password has been hacked or compromised. So we will be importing requests. This is like to get your website, and we will be importing something called hashlib. This is used to convert our string to hashed value. And let's start by creating a function called request data, and let this be your data. We'll pass in data. So the URL for our API is https api.pontpasswords.com/range, and we'll be passing in our data. So data, and we will see if this works. So let's see res this is equal to request dot get URL, and we'll see if rest dot, so we'll just print it out. We'll see if this is working. So print rest, and before that we will do check something out. So we'll say string to SHA1. So we are going to use this for checking. So let's say hello. So we have this string. We'll pass in our first 5 characters here. So I'll just call in the function request data, and I'll pass in my first 5 variables. Save it. Let's run this out. So terminal. So Python pond password.py. Global name requests is not defined. So this should be requests, not request. See, we are getting a response 4, not 4. This is because we have something wrong here. This should be range slash. Let's check it again. Okay, so we are getting it 200. That means okay. 4 not 4 means let's 4 not 4 means the website page or the page you are checking is not found, and 500 means server error. 200 means the HTTP request was okay. So I'll delete this part, and you will say if rest dot status code, if it is not 200, we will raise an error. So we'll say raise runtime error, and we'll give the error fetching our status code. So rest dot status code check the API and try again. So basically what we are doing is that we are checking if the status code is 200. If not, we are raising an runtime error with this message. So else we will say return res. Now let's check this out again. So I'll call in the function request data. This time I'll just pass some random variable. So this time we have runtime error. Okay, this says invalid syntax. So there's some mistake here. And it seems the issue was because I forgot to activate my Python environment. So now it works. As you can see here, error fetching 400. Check the API and try again. So we know that works. Now we'll create something for hashing our string. So let's start by creating that. So we'll say def. Let's say hash string, and we'll give in our password to hash. So we want our SHA1 password. So that should be like SHA password, and we are going to use hash lib for this. So hash lib, and we just have to say SHA. Given our password, this password should be in UTF-8 format, so we have to encode it. So encode UTF-8, and we have to make this in uppercase. Also it should be in hexadecimals. So for that we'll just have to say hex digest and uppercase dot upper. We'll just see if this works. So I'll just say print SHA1 password, and we'll call our hash string. Let's say 123. Save. check. As you can see, we have our SHA-1 password. Let's see if it's the same. Let's say 123 40BD001 40BD, same thing, dicto same. So this is how you generate your SHA-1 password. Now we want the first 5 characters and the tail. So when we pass in our URL, we are in here, we are passing in our first 5 characters of this password, the hexed password, and what we'll be getting is our tail, the rest of the characters. For example, the first let's say this URL gets our first 5 characters, and this will give us all those strings, all those hashed passwords that has this first 5 characters as the starting. So for example, let's say I give an request data. So let's take our response, and we'll say for that let's get our first 5 characters. So that's 5 for first 5, and the rest I'll call it tail. So I'll say SHA password, give me the first 5, and SHA password, give me after 5 characters after 5. So we are splitting the string. So I'll get my response using our request data. So request data, and I'll pass in my F5. Let's print it out and check. So print response dot text. So we are getting all those variables. Let's check it. So hash string, I'll pass in 1 2 3, save it, run it. So as you can see, we are having all those passwords that has the starting letter of 1 2 3, that is 40BD0, and after that the rest has tails. So these are the tails, and this is the number of time the password has been hacked. So now all we have to do is cross check the tail with our password, the tail with this. So let's do that. So for that I'll create a new function, and we will return this to our main function. So we'll say, we'll call it check hashes, and we are giving in our response and our tail to check. Save it. Let's create our get check hashes. So we have our hashes and our hash to check. So we will split our hashes from this one and to 1. So what we are going to do is we'll split it as tuples. So line dot split, we'll split it based on this string, and for line in our hashes, we have to split it based on text. As you see, we did our text. Hashes is our response, that is this one, and we need rest dot text, and we also need to split it based on lines. Why? I'll just show it to you in a second. So split lines. So what split line does is, I'll show it to you here itself. So split lines in Python, it splits the line based on lines, else this is a very long number of characters and our program will get confused. That's why we are splitting this on lines. So we have this as an array based on lines, this one element of an array, the second element, So this will be an array, and in that array we'll split each element. Otherwise, even though there are spaces, this is actually a single string which we are getting as response. So now all you have to do is check it. So we will say for h comma count, h being the hash in hashes. I will check if h is similar to our, if h is same as our hash to check. If it is, we'll just return count. So return count, else return 0. So now let's create our main function. I'll call this checker, and we'll add our arguments, basically our password to check. I'll call this password to check, and we'll just check it. So we just have to say count is equal to hash string. We'll be passing, as you can see, first what hash string does is it takes our it connects all these three functions. So hash string and our password to check. So we'll get our count back. Now if count will say, we'll return the password, that is the password to check was found count times. So let's if count is 5 times, and we'll say you should probably change the password. And if it is not there, we'll just say else. We'll return the string. So password to check was not found, carry on. Now let's check it out. So we'll say print checker 1 2 3. So it says check hashes is not defined. Shut up, hashes. Save it. Rerun it. It's returning none. Let's see. Checker 1 2 3. Password to check. So that's weird. Let's print our password. So print, let's debug our program. Password to check. Let's see what it gives. So we have 1 2 3. Now let's print count. What gives 0. So 1 2 3 is being returned as 0. Okay, that's because here it is an error. This return 0 should have been outside of our for loop. If it is inside for loop after the first if it is not there, it will just return 0. So that was my mistake. So this time it should work. Let's just delete this part. Now let's check. So you see 1 2 3 was found this many number of times. You should probably change it. Let's see for my password which I tested earlier, my favorite password modified, and this one returns none. That's because count is 0, so it should have been else. we should have returned my mod. We didn't return it. So let's check it again. Okay, this password was not found, so carry on. So we have our function. We'll use this as a module. Now let's get on with our Django programming. So in settings.py, we'll set up few things. First one, we'll set up our app. So here we'll say checker is the app which we create. We will define our template directory. So os.path.join base directory and templates. And for static, also we will define it. So static URL same. So static root, it will be our os.path.join our base directory, and we'll say static slash. And for our static directory files, static files directory, so we'll say static files directories is a list. So we'll say os.path.join, and this one again will be under base directory, and we'll say password checker slash static. So basically this, you guys already know. If not, what this does is that it will check under password checker under static folder if there are any changes. If there is, it will take it to our main static folder. So I think that's it for our settings.py. So in our urls.py, we will add our checker URLs. So here we will add our checker path. Will include our checker.urls. Also without import, include from a django.urls. So include, save it. So that's done. Now let's create our urls.py. So urls.py, it will have almost the same structure except we don't want admin. So I'll just copy that, paste it, delete this part. So we don't want this without import views. So from this folder, import views, and we'll be creating our home page. So views.home, and we'll name it home. Also we'll be creating a page called checking, the page where we'll check for a password, and we'll be redirecting to this page, but we'll already have the same, we will use the same template. So views.check, and I'll name this check. Or let's say no, I'll do this one. So save it. So under views.py, we'll define two functions. So before that, we'll import our module, the one which we created. So import checker it pond passwords.py, pond password as pd, and let's create our home page. So def home, we'll pass request, and we will return our page. So return render request home.html. We also define the other function, but we'll just for now give it request, and we just pass it for now. So let's create our templates. So new folder, templates, and here we'll have our new file, that is home.html. So let's start by defining our home.html. So we'll first load our static file, dot static, and then our HTML. We'll say doc type HTML, and we'll define our HTML. It should be the English. Our head. So meta set, give UTF-8. Our viewport meta. I'll just post my video. This is like useless stuff. If you guys won't just copy paste it or post the video and type. So I'll just post a recording for now and I'll type it out. So I've typed it out file, HTML file. So basically we are using Bootstrap CSS. Found some CSS. It's not actually required, but if you want you can add more. I will be using something called main.css, which we will create in a second. So let's just define our body. So I'll call this page wrapper, and here we'll have two classes. One is main for our main content, and one is our result content. So under main content we'll have our h1 tag. We'll say welcome to password checker, and under our p tag we'll say please input your password below, and we'll create a form. So form, and we'll give action for our check. We'll give action, we'll redirect to our check function, and also we will pass in the method as post. So basically if we are submitting the button only go to check, otherwise don't invoke our check function. And since it's a form, we have to given the CSRF token, and we'll say for input type is text and name is password, and it is required, so required. And our button, so input type is submit, and we'll give value as check. So check. Now we'll create our result div dot result. Here we'll check if the result is there. So if result, then display it. So if result, close it off, and if. So inside of result we'll say h4 tag, and we'll say result. So whatever the result is, so we'll style this accordingly, but for now let's just keep it like that. And we'll just define our check function. So delete this part. So we'll say if request start method is post, so equal to post, then only invoke it. So we will just pass in our password. We will get our password from the template. So request dot post, password, and what we are going to do, we'll get two things. First we'll just get our password, so I will say r is equal to our password, so we are given it as pd dot, let's check it out, what was it, pd dot checker, and pass in our password as the parameter, and we'll say context, we'll pass in result, and that would be r, and we'll just render the page. So render return render our request and our home.html, and this time we'll be passing in our context too, so context. So that should work. Let's just clear this part and run our server. So python .py spelling mistake. Okay, this is a lot of errors. If request start method equal to post, it should have been equal to, not equals. So that should work. Let's check it out. There won't be any background or anything. Form actions could not pass check. Name is check, yeah. Okay. This should not have come. The background was here because this is my cookie, so I'll just clear it out. We are browsing data. Alright, and I will just see if it works. So check car T403 was found 6 times. You should change it. Now that we have done our HTML page, now we'll make it more beautiful. So we'll create navbar. For that I'll create a folder under templates called partials. So partials dot, and inside this folder we'll say nav.html. So for navbar, we are going to use Bootstrap's default navbar. So let's just go to Bootstrap navbar, Bootstrap. So we just want the branding. So we don't want the text. Paste it. No, we don't want this part. For this I'll say password checker, and for color we'll say white, and this we want it as dark. I don't want this part, and the color for this also would be black. So here we'll include the partial, so it should be under head. So here we will include our partials. So include partial /nav.html, save it, Let's see if this works. Okay, we have our password checker, but it seems this child was not applied. So now the color, it should be background color, not color. So let's see background color. So okay, we have our password checker. Now for our main.css. So we'll create our static folder. So say new folder, static, new folder CSS. We'll create one more folder called image. The name should be img, and under CSS we'll say main.css. So for page wrapper, we'll give our display a flex. It will be the flex direction would be a column, and for content it should be center, align self center, and text align also at center, and min height we give it as 100 vh, 100 vh, and for background image we'll just download it, but we'll call it static. Inside the static folder, inside image folder, we'll say background bg.jpg, position background repeat, no repeat, background size cover, background attachment it should be fixed, and position it will be background position center. Right, so width I'll say 100%, and let's define our colors for our text. So for under main, for h1 and p, our color would be white, and font weight will give it bold, and for our input we'll give a width of 40% of the screen size, padding we'll give 5px, top right 0, resize we don't want it, so none. We'll give font size around 18 pixels, color I'll give it as 333. We don't want a border, so border none, and we'll give a border bottom, so we'll have 1px solid hash, color will give 777, and we'll give font weight of 300, so font and we'll give outline none. Right, so for our input type submit, so as you know, both input for text and submit we give same type. So for this we have to define a type is equal to submit. This is like a button, so position is relative, the cursor should be a pointer, I'll give background color as is blue, basically 053959, and text color white. Give border same as none, and give a width of 150 px, and let's give padding around 12 px, and animation transition 1 second, basically when we are hovering, time taken. So for main input, type submit, and for hover we'll change the color to green, so background green, and again for this transition, I'll get 1 second, and for result we'll make it in center. So for result it should be in the center with fit content, text align center, align self center. Now we collect our static files. So for that we'll just download our image. For me, I have already downloaded the image. So for you guys, I would say oh bad, my bad. You can use any image you want. This is an image. If you search for programming, you will get it. Now just collect our static files, manage.py, collect static. Right, so here are our static files, CSS, it seems our main.css was not copied. Okay, this is under admin, that's why. Okay. So under static files, what happened to our normal static? static, just go to settings.py and check static file. It's not directories. Run it again. This time we have our main.css and the other one. So let's reload it. Let's check it out. Alright, so we have our website created. We don't want this white space, so I'll give it a margin top for our page wrapper. So this should have a margin, and I'll give it a negative 50 px. So margin minus 50 px. You might be wondering why it's coming. Basically it's because Bootstrap navbar gives a margin bottom of around 30-40 px. So you can edit it, but this looks both the ways. This looks a better, easier way to do it. Now let's check it out. Was found this color is not appropriate. We'll change that. So for that, in our password.py, we will be returning two things. One a string, and the other will return two integers, 1 and 0. And why we are doing that is because in our use.py we will be taking some the 1 and 0 into a, and we will give it the name as color, and I'll give it as a. So what we'll be doing is we will be checking in home.html here. Here we will give the color the background color red if it is 1 and green if it is blue. So what we'll be doing is if s color is equal to 1, then style background will give an RGBA. So RGBA 172.0, 0.4, opacity I want it as 0.4, else we'll give the color green. So just copy this, and green would be around here, okay, and F, and in our main dot CSS under result we'll give color white. Now just check it out. Yes, reload, continue. Okay, there's some mistake. If could not face emitter, so let's check that out. So if s color, let's save it, use.py, we are passing in next color. Okay, so if s color is equal to 1, let's hope that is a mistake. Alright, so as you can see, CART403 was found 6 times, and so our CSS has been taken into effect. This was not found, so carry on. So that's it guys, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe it. Please subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and continue to watch more of my videos.